Welcome, welcome, welcome to our guided meditation today, the garden path. And this is a time when we can just sit back and relax, close our eyes, and just be. You can allow yourself to become lost in the moment. You can settle into whatever comes to your mind. You may hear words or see pictures. Hopefully, it will be a time that will bring you peace and other attributes that you may need right now. And today, we are going to walk together as friends do until we come upon a gate. It is a rather different looking gate, perhaps very old, but not often used. We find that we are intrigued by this portal into a different place, and one person steps forward to volunteer to open the door for all of us to enter. As we pass through this gate, our senses are heightened, and we are aware that there is a smell, a beautiful multicolored scent that is rising up around us. We look to see if we can find out where this wonderful fragrance is coming from. Is it the wisteria over on the side, or is it those flowering trees up ahead of us? We're not sure because the fragrance is a mingling, and it makes us feel both comfortable and loved and safe too. We are aware that as soon as we step through the gate, that we are entering into a magical garden space. There is no house connected to this garden, as if the garden exists just to be a garden. There is no one around in the garden, yet the gate was not locked, and there weren't any signs to ask us to not enter. And we feel that somehow we are supposed to be here, and so we'll proceed forward. As we walk, we can see that there is a most unusual pathway. It's colorful and eclectic, as if it was laid out piece by piece without a final plan for the completed look. The pathway is made from a variety of artistic works inspired with old recycled pieces of marble and cement slabs. There is a stepping stone that in the cement is old costume jewelry. It's embedded and surrounded with glass gleams in the sunlight, and we marvel at how well it all fits together. There are other hand-created stepping stones here too. One is of sea glass, and the light reflected from the circular piece is mesmerizing. As we look at it, we find ourselves walking the shorelines of the ocean, listening to the waves and the peaceful rhythms of those waves. We notice there are a few plate-sized ceramic pieces, round ceramic pieces, with words. And as we walk, we realize that each step we take reflects a part of our lives, completed or not, realized or yet to be. This is a pathway of beautiful, unfurling treasure. Organic in nature, this pathway gives us pause. We walk slowly as if the energy of each step seeps deeply into our hearts. It is as if the energy of each step is soaked up into our entire being. This pathway is one of an unknown artist who has laid out beautiful work so that we may each find a way through this garden. And we wonder, if we were not in the time that we are in now, would we have taken the time to find and walk through on this garden path? Looking down, we see a plaque. It's a ceramic plaque. It's multicolored and it says, "I am enough." We wonder why this plaque isn't hanging on a small wall somewhere in a house. But then we realize that placing it upon a garden path is also an excellent place to find truth. Thinking about this, we realize that who each one of us is really enough. How we are right now in this very moment, in the middle of this time, is exactly as it should be. We think about times when we were more motivated, perhaps, times when we think that we should be doing more, but right now we just don't have the energy or the ability. We sigh and we settle into the words of this ceramic plaque that we now stand upon. I am enough. We listen not only to ourselves but to each other. We nod because we all agree. And we think about that wonderful truth and let it go deep into ourselves. We feel that truth wash away any feelings of lack or any lingering moments that speak and say, you should have been doing this or you should have been doing that. We feel that wonderful truth erasing notions of what we think we should be doing with peace, perfect peace. That peace washes over us, and we repeat, I am enough. In the next step, we find the treasure of a painted rock. It appears that this was created by a child, or perhaps it was created by one with a childlike heart. It makes us smile, and we realize that so much can be put upon this artistic pathway, the pathway of our lives. Life doesn't require that our paintings and the work that we create in our lives be something to hang on a museum wall. The work of our lives is what could be used right now. Looking at this painted rock, a childlike creation, we stop and think about how satisfying a peanut butter and jelly sandwich can be to one who is hungry. We think about a glass of cold water and how that quenches the greatest thirst. The simplicity of this child's painting upon a rock helps us to realize that fancy isn't always what is needed. Sometimes honesty will take us further. As we look upon the rocks, there seems to be many, as our gaze continues, painted rocks that hold a child or childlike painting. We feel a laughter rising up from within us. There is no competition here. There is no striving for perfection. It's about joy and the joy of creating. A slight breeze causes us to look upwards, and we notice that upon the brick wall beside us, there's moss growing. The ancient brick wall has been here for a very long time. Somehow this wall keeps this garden place private and very safe, and the old wall adds a coziness to this secret garden. We notice there are hyacinths growing. They are quietly growing beside a spread of soon-to-bloom white narcissus. All the flowers are gleaming in their own beauty. Further over on one side, there are iris that are starting to bloom. They are the bearded variety, and they're very purple and tall and straight. There are other varieties of flowers also growing, with no one watching or murmuring praise to how beautiful they are. We wonder when the last time was that someone came into this garden. There's no indication of anyone stopping by, and as we continue along the path, we now walk upon well-worn bricks made by a brickmaker and interspersed with stones chiseled by hand. This path is the path that we follow. It is the path of our forefathers, the path traveled by our ancestors before us. And yet this walk does not call us to look back. Instead, it calls us to proceed forward. We walk upon this garden path to discover more of this most beautiful garden. Here there are fruit trees and birds. There's a little pond with fish swimming. Lily pads and flowers fill the pond. This entire garden is a place of beauty. We continue on the ever-changing path, often looking, even studying the parts of the pathway. Glancing down, we see yet another ceramic piece that says, "Walk in beauty." It is as if a big soothing breath goes through all of us. We breathe deeply and we realize that we always have this choice. In our lives, we can choose to see that which is beautiful around us. We can choose to see the beauty and the goodness. We can choose the perspective with how we will view that which is in our lives. Many of us came into this garden aware that we don't always have the ability to change our circumstances. What has been going on in our lives right now is not something that we can necessarily change, but we can choose to do, as the last ceramic stone said, walk in beauty. Each step along this path, the artist's path that was laid out for us, opens our hearts and our minds and reminds us that we do have choices. We realize there is no hurry. Nothing is pressing at us because the world around us has changed its pace. Up ahead are some benches, hand-hewn wooden benches, and we stop to rest. We behold the beauty of this place. It is green and plentiful. It is rich with ancient wisdom. The birds don't seem to be concerned about what is going on outside the garden. They are content to be here making beautiful songs. And in this place, we realize that we do have the choice, and we can make that choice in our hearts. We are renewed once again to walk in beauty, to walk and help one another walk, to look for beauty, to find that which is lovely. We know that our world outside this garden path, on the other side of the gate, may change, but we can always continue to walk with this love and beauty. We know that during this time in our lives, we have changed, and we have grown. We smile with confidence, knowing that whatever happens, we will be fine. We have the strength of community and the assurance that we are not walking alone. This garden path has reminded us of our lives, that there is beauty and reflection, and that in this garden we can find that peace.